Most religions share a belief that the body and spirit coexist, until the body has perished and the spirit moves on into the afterlife. However, there are those that remain. Some stay with a purpose. Some are doomed to relive their own violent deaths. These spirits are one of the oldest aspects associated with Halloween. For generations to come, people will still gather around the campfire to tell the stories of ghosts.
Welcome to 13 Degrees of Screams,
where we watch and dissect your favorite spooky movies.
I'm your host, Alex.
And Stephanie.
And this is a mostly horror podcast.
Each season, we will rank 13 movies on a scariness scale from, you guessed it, 1 to 13.
We will uncover the real-life myths and legends that inspire these movies and tell you just how authentic they are.
This week, we see some dead people with The Sixth Sense.
So, Stephanie.
Yes.
Have you seen The Sixth Sense before we watched it for this podcast?
So, sort of, yeah.
Sort of? How do you sort of?
I mean, it's, again, one of those movies that I saw a lot on cable in little bits and pieces. So,
okay.
I knew enough. I knew the spoiler. I knew the twist.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like at this point, literally everyone knows.
Yeah.
Even if you've never seen the movie, you know it.
Right. There's actually a great bit about one in a comedian stand-up. I think his name is Nate Bargatze.
Okay.
And he talks about how everyone was so surprised that Bruce Willis was dead.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler! And everyone just assumed beforehand that it was just the story of a marriage of a man that wasn't talking to his wife.
It's so funny you say that because, having no...
When you realize that he's never talking to anybody else.
Right, I mean, he does say, she doesn't talk to me anymore, but it's, so obvious.
Once you know it, you know.
Right. And it's how could you ever think that he was alive?
Right.
They nail it home that he sees dead people, that's the whole thing. And it's of course, why did we not think that was the thing? I don't know, maybe because I just don't know. But it's so obvious once you watch it again. You're like,
oh, yeah,
he's
obviously
so dead.
He was dead.
He freaking did. Obviously, I've seen it. So I really, really enjoy Sixth Sense.
Oh, yeah. I had a blast, honestly.
And I forget, honestly, at this point, M. Night Shyamalan is known for just, questionable movie choices. And,
right.
I forget, this is so good.
Yeah.
What happened to you?
I know.
Signs was good, too. That came soon after. But Sixth Sense is really good.
No, I would definitely watch it again for funsies.
How did you go from Sixth Sense to The Happening?
I don't know.
Even Old. I saw Old recently.
Oh, yeah.
Old
when it came
isn't
out. Bad,
it's not bad, but
it's not definitely doing what Sixth Sense is doing.
No, Sixth Sense is on another level.
You got it.
Yeah, I know. We know. Sixth Sense is so good. I really enjoy this movie. I saw it when I was younger when it came out, and at that point, when we go in the background, it came out in 1999, so I would have been only 7.
Right.
And I guess, I liked it, but I was too young to really understand, I guess. And I've seen this a bunch of times since, and I was actually really excited to watch it again. For the podcast, just because that's so well done.
It is very good. Did you happen to notice the little touches of red?
Oh yeah, that's the thing. So
everywhere,
yeah. So anytime a ghosty thing was happening, there's red.
Yeah.
It's noticeable, I would say, because there's the red doorknob in Bruce Willis's house.
Yes.
And, that's not common, or the big red doors on the church, I think it was.
Yeah,
it's red balloon.
It's sprinkled throughout, and Cole wears red a lot too.
And the mom.
Especially
at the end when they're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, when we get to the plot, but
yes.
Yeah, there's red sprinkled into the movie to signify when ghosty stuff is happening, which is all the time.
Yeah.
So Stephanie, where did you rank The Sixth Sense on the scariness scale?
I ranked it as a 10.
A 10. I have it as 11.
Oh, fair. I'm not unhappy with that now that I've watched it again, because
no,
it definitely builds suspense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're starting to get to the point where things are getting a little muddied with the scale, because I definitely think it was scarier than Personal Shopper, and I have Personal Shopper above it. So when we do our final conclusion, I'll have to do some rearranging. But
yeah, this conclusion episode's going to get weird.
Yeah, it's going to get weird, but it's definitely scarier than Personal Shopper, but it is more intriguing to me than scary.
I can see that.
If that makes sense. I don't know if that makes... It doesn't make 6 sense. Does it make 6 sense?
It doesn't make all 7 8.
It doesn't make 7, 8, or 9 cents. But it's a very intriguing movie to me.
Yeah.
But the ghosts are definitely startling.
Yeah, they are
At the very
definitely
least.
more shocking, especially in the beginning, like the little happenings going around the house and like their apartment and stuff.
The sprinkle of happenings
The sprinkle.
that we'll get through. You ready to hear some movie background on The Sixth Sense?
Yeah.
So it came out in 1999 and is described as an American supernatural horror film, written, of course, and directed by M. Night Shyamalan, as we said. It stars Bruce Willis as a child psychologist whose patient, who is played by Haley Joel Osment, claims he can see and talk to the dead. And I did want to mention Toni Collette plays the mom. She's phenomenal in everything
Yes.
she's in. So
She is very good.
love her. I didn't realize it was her.
No, I didn't either, but like she's from Hereditary, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great. I love her. Every movie I see her in, she's amazing.
Yes.
So, released by Buena Vista Pictures through its Hollywood Pictures label on August 6, 1999, critics praised its performance, particularly those of Willis, Osment, and Toni Collette, the atmosphere, and the plot twist. So, when I was putting this down, I didn't really catch the Buena Vista, that's Disney related, I'm fairly certain.
Yeah, Buena Vista Drive is like a big road in Florida for Disney World hotels, and I'm sure you can take almost that road to almost everything Disney park related as well.
Yeah, I know that because of Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Buena Vista. So, that's the same thing. This is like a Disney movie. Interesting.
Yeah. Because I remember on like older classic Disney films and stuff like that too. Like their name was always in the credits and stuff before movies.
Yeah, I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
But interesting. So the movie was actually nominated for 6 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Original Screenplay for Shyamalan, Best Supporting Actor for Osment, and Best Supporting Actress for Collette. The film established Shyamalan for thriller films and introduced the cinema public to his traits, most notably his affinity for surprise endings. So started it all with his little twisties.
You could say that again.
He should have stopped. No, I don't hate him. He has hit.
He did well, and then he should have been done.
This was crazy. It was the second highest grossing film of 1999, taking about $293 million to the U.S. and $379 million in other markets. Of course, we all know the line, "I see dead people," has become a cultural phenomenon.
Yes.
It was parodied in movies like Scary Movie. And actually, it scored number 44 on AFI's 100 Years, 100 Movie Quotes.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It was also scored 60th place on AFI's 100 Years, 100 Thrills special, honoring America's most heart-pounding movies.
Oh, okay.
And I'm fairly certain it was on something, the 100 movie moments.
Yeah, I think that one that you showed us, as in our two people helping us behind the scenes.
Our team, yes.
Yes. Wasn't it like 100 Scariest Moments or something?
Yeah, it was like 100
in
scary
film?
movie moments. So, I see dead people. I feel like everyone was saying that.
Oh, yeah, for
back
sure.
in the day. And this is so embarrassing. When I was a kid, I had a t-shirt that said, "I see dumb people." I love that
So
shirt.
clever.
I know. I love that shirt. It's so stupid. I can't believe I had that shirt.
So, are you ready to get into the plot?
Yes.
So, we start off in a suburb of Philadelphia, in a very ritzy area.
Is
where,
that a routine? Oh,
at least-
the very
At
beginning.
least where he lives.
You're right,
yes.
you're right.
Where child psychologist Malcolm Crowe and his wife Anna are just getting home and celebrating being nominated by the mayor for his work in child psychology.
Mhm.
And pretty much instantly, a former patient of Crowe's is in their house,
Breaks in, just chilling.
naked.
Well, he has his underwear on.
Oh, yeah, he's modest.
I mean, there's a difference between underwear and full-blown naked. So, just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, he's not Kristen Stewart again.
Yeah.
Well, I guess he is, kind of. So Crowe tries to reason with him, tell him he can get him help and stuff like that, but this man is very upset with him, says he couldn't help him, and at first Crowe even struggles to remember who it is, which my best friend Shantae is a counselor, and I could really sympathize there. She has 99 cases.
Right.
So I understand that it's upsetting for a patient not to be remembered, but it's also you're just one of many and they want to help everybody.
Right. Yeah, there's no way. Someone will tell me their name as I meet them, and I will not remember their name just immediately. So, yeah. And this was a long time ago because, he's a full-grown adult now. So
Yeah,
he was
and
a kid patient.
Right.
So it's been so many years. He's probably had thousands of other people at this point.
Exactly. So Malcolm at the time had treated him for hallucinations and eventually kind of remembers that his name is Vincent Gray. But he doesn't care that he remembers him after a minute and shoots Crow in the stomach, and he falls over on the bed behind him because they were in their room, and immediately shoots himself in the head right after.
Yeah.
Okay.
So welcome to the Sixth Sense.
Yeah. So sometime later.
Undiscernible time later.
Yeah. Malcolm just begins following a young boy, which I'm like, this is a little triggering for me after Lovely Bones.
Well, he's not really he is following them, but he's helping him.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's just some random guy following this kid. Like,
yeah, but he follows him into a church. It's a little different. Like, it's not your typical settings for clinic appointments with your therapist.
Yeah, well, he missed the appointment, so he's going to follow him to... Yeah, that sounds weird.
Anyway, so Malcolm has taken a particular interest in him, though, because he is 9 years old and his name is Cole Sear, and he reminds him a lot of the man that has shot him as a child.
Yeah.
So he feels that he has to rectify this failure with Vincent but through Cole. So he's adamant about helping him no matter what. But Cole is very distant, and Cole doesn't want to tell him his secret.
Cole talks like he's a 40-year-old man.
Yes.
Like, that alone, I'm like, oh, buddy. Like, he is too old for a kid. Like, obviously, with what he's dealing with, which, spoiler alert.
No, you can see it. Why?
Yeah. He sees ghosts. So he, had to grow up a lot.
Yes. Now getting into Cole's relationship with his mother. So she is actually very supportive of him. And even though, like, Cole constantly worries that he's a freak and, like, he pays a kid off at school to act like his friend.
Right.
It's so sad.
I know.
And
the bully, nonetheless.
Yeah. A kid that keeps on, like, putting in his face that he acted in one TV commercial, that keeps coming into play for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
So his mother is very supportive, but, like, he doesn't want to even tell her about, like, what's going on, even though there's kind of, like, weird circumstances happening around the house. Like, for instance, there's, like, this bee pendant that her mother gave her, so Cole's grandmother, that keeps going missing and ends up in Cole's drawer. And Cole claims that it wasn't him that moved it, even though it's just them living there. Mm-hmm. And also, in one shot, Lynn, the mother, leaves the room to get some laundry from the dryer. She's gone for like 2 seconds and comes back, and all of the cabinets and drawers are opened up in the kitchen. And I'm like, there's no way he'd have time to do that by himself.
Yeah, it was like 2 seconds, and no. She's like, what were you looking for? Nothing. That wasn't
obviously
me.
No.
He says Pop-Tarts, but that was not what was going on here.
He's kind of like just playing it up, even though like he knows he didn't do it. Like so he almost figures it's better to just lie and pretend rather than admit it.
Yeah, I think he knows like she's not gonna believe him.
Yeah. So eventually we see Cole at a birthday party, and he sees like a red balloon floating up the stairs, like red stairs as well.
Well, yeah, red.
And
stay away.
Yeah. And he can hear someone calling out, and what I'm guessing is like a laundry chute or something. It's very weird. It's like a smallish door.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Like, I don't know what it's for.
I thought maybe it was like the attic area.
Maybe.
I don't know.
But 2 boys from his school follow him up there and tell them that they want to play a game called Dungeon, where he's in the dungeon.
Sounds fun. Do you want to play Dungeon, Stephanie?
No.
Why not?
Because I don't want to be locked in a dark room.
I'll be in the dungeon, I guess.
I guess so. I guess that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, so he hears voices. Like, he's hearing voices coming out of this door, so that's why he's up there. But then these 2 kids, they don't hear anything, so they just shove him in there and think that's fun. Mm-hmm. He's crying and screaming and beating on the door, and they're just standing there watching. I'm like, it's not funny. Even if it was funny for 2 seconds, as soon as he started screaming like that, it's not funny anymore.
Right.
So the mom comes out, and the door is locked, and it sounds like he's, like, being assaulted in there. It's
genuinely freaky.
Yeah.
Especially even the voice you hear beforehand, and she cannot get this door open.
Right, but it was wide open before, too, but it was, like, someone screaming, like, let me out, like, open the door. But eventually, like, the screaming subsides, and she's able to open the door, and she rushes him to the hospital, and he's fine, just kind of shaken up. But the doctors notice that he has
marks and bruises.
Scratches and stuff on his body that she almost assumed was self-harm. But the doctors assume maybe that she's hurting him at home.
Right. They asked that question, and she's like, you think I'm doing this?
The fuck?
The fuck? You think I'm doing this?
Right.
No.
So that's a whole thing. And she goes and like threatens the kid's mom on the phone, like, like keep your hands off my son.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually Malcolm stops by and ends up talking to Cole following the incident in the hospital. And Cole finally admits that he's ready to tell him his secret.
Mm-hmm.
And he sees dead people and they don't realize they're dead.
Mm-hmm. They're everywhere, he says.
Everywhere, and he sees them all the time.
Yeah. Malcolm's like, when do you see them? He's like,
in your sleep? No, all the time.
No, like literally like right now.
Yeah.
Like literally all the time.
Like, can you stay here while I fall asleep? Like,
yeah.
I'm scared.
Right. It's interesting that he's a kid, so of course he's still scared, but you'd think like at some point you get used to it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, these ghosts like come out of nowhere and they like torment him.
Right.
Like, I don't think you'll ever get used to that.
No. Well, and then like I even put in like ghost characteristics too. Like some of them don't even realize that they're talking to him. Like the one woman thought she was talking to her like abusive husband or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's
that
the one opening the cupboards.
Scary. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like screaming at Cole, saying he's like the worst husband ever.
Right.
And she had cut her wrists.
Yeah. So Malcolm thinks that Cole is delusional and considers dropping his case and thinking that he needs to be maybe medicated or even hospitalized. And we kind of see, like, in spurts throughout the movie, him and his wife, who are now not on speaking terms.
Yeah.
I would say so. And she is also, it seems like, seeing an employee behind his back.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, going on the assumption that you don't know
that
the twist.
Right. So, yeah, he thinks he's being cheated on.
Right.
By this little douche.
Yes. So there's that. But after being basically rebuffed by his wife again, like her not talking to him, even though she is only watching wedding videos of them together, like almost every time he's home.
Right. She just misses you that much.
But she doesn't want to see or hear from you.
Right. Like that doesn't connect very well, but all right.
Yes. So there's that. He decides to go into their cellar, which he always has trouble opening the door. It's always stuck or locked every time. But he ends up going down into their wine cellar where he conveniently also works on his sessions with his patients that are recorded and realizes that Vincent, in an earlier session when he was a child, said the same things. And he like turns up the audio on it because he can kind of hear like a crackling because he leaves the room. And he hears in the recording that like before he left the room, they were talking, it was fine. But when he comes back, he's hysterical. So he listens to while he's out of the room and hears Vincent like crying and hearing somebody in Spanish yelling in Spanish, "I don't want to die."
Yeah. Oh, God, that scene really creeped me out. Like, anything with, like, EVPs or, like, where you don't see it, but you just hear, like, scary people.
Right.
Not that he was scary, but, like, the context of it is very...
Knowing that child's alone in a room, and then there's somebody else screaming in there, you know?
Yeah,
that's terrifying.
That gives me chills.
And, like, who even knows what the imagery for that looked like, because he was very upset when he came back.
Right.
So he realizes that the ghost that Vincent was seeing, and Cole in this case now, are real. So he suggests to Cole that he tries to communicate with them and help them finish their business.
Unfinished business. Again, here we go.
And Cole says he'll try.
Yeah, I'll try my best.
So he lets a few go before he actually tries anything.
Right. I mean, that's a big burden for a 9-year-old to kind of...
Well, and by the way, these aren't just like real, like solid looking people, you know, they're stuck in the moment that they died, basically, and not always aware that death has become them.
Right. There's that one kid, there's a younger boy, and he's like, hey, come look at where my dad keeps his gun. And he turns around and there's a big hole in his head.
Yeah, that was upsetting too.
Like, oh.
So one night, Cole awakens to discover a girl vomiting, and at first he runs away, but...
Yeah, I'd be like, I'm out. You know what? It's not even the fact that it's a ghost, it's the fact someone's vomiting. Gone.
Yeah, no, I'd be like, that's not the one for me.
Yeah, no, you know, I'll try again tomorrow.
Yeah, there's gotta be somebody else, like something less violent or weird happening.
Right. Or gross, just gross.
Yeah, that too. But he eventually comes back to her because she's still in the room. She didn't just come in and vomit and leave like in Personal Shopper.
yeah, right. No, this little girl's just like, where'd you go?
We gonna talk about him now?
Yeah.
But she tells him like she feels much better, and he kind of vanishes, and he finds out who she is with Malcolm and goes to her funeral reception at her home.
Mm-hmm. So she's a fresh ghost.
Yeah, she
Fresh off the presses.
right.
Which is interesting that they must know that he sees
can see them.
because all these people are coming to him. So, like, she just recently died and showed up.
Yeah, that's why I said off recording when we mentioned all the movies that we had watched for this recording session that it almost feels like an origin story for the medium of 13 Ghost.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because, like, he honestly always seems terrified, too, in 13 Ghost, even though he's been seeing them his whole life. But that's kind of like the energy Cole is giving. They're always there, no matter what.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because in 13 Ghosts...
He says they're everywhere, too.
Mm-hmm. Mediums, unfinished business, ghosts.
Yeah. A lot of mediums in these ones.
Mm-hmm.
So Cole ends up sneaking into the dead girl's room and finds a tape that she had hidden in her room and ends up giving it to her father.
Well, the little girl gives it to him.
Oh, yeah.
She's like
she slides under the bed.
This is what I want you to show to me.
Again, Charlie made the complaint that, like, they should be a little bit less creepy about it. Because she, like, startles him under the bed.
Well, I don't know. She didn't do anything. He just sees her under the bed, and I think she doesn't, like, jump out and just like, hi.
But still.
Here's the tape. Like, she's just chilling there,
Right.
And again, to your point, if they're stuck in their, like, little loop of how they died.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, that's going to be a traumatizing experience, I think they're just... I don't think they're actively trying to scare him.
Right.
And again, with the woman we talked about where she's yelling at her husband.
She didn't realize. Yeah,
so.
That's true.
I mean, they could, honestly, again, she could have just been like, she could have slowly came around the corner and be like, hi, I need help. It would have scared me. Because, like, I'm not expecting anyone.
Right.
So no matter how you approach me, ghost.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I'm going to be scared. So.
I don't know. Maybe he needs to have office hours or something, like someone knocks and
post them.
So Cole ends up giving the tape to her father because his daughter needed to tell him something. And surprisingly, I was like, so we're going to cut to this guy watching this tape by himself. Nope, just watches it in front of everybody in the home.
Well, they don't know what the tape is.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, not saying it's wrong, but I was just like, where are we going to go with this?
Well, we're about to find out where we're going to go with this because bad.
And it turns out the mother had been poisoning her for many months, keeping her sick.
Why?
And I even heard people talking before they even found the tape that they said the little girl's getting sick now too, like the younger sister.
I missed that.
Yeah, so she was going to do it with her.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't delve into why.
No.
But it's evil.
Murderers.
Yeah.
Murderers, man.
And then the dad, like, confronts her and she's like, who, me?
I know.
She doesn't say that, but she has that stupid ass voice on her face.
Mm-hmm. And she's also wearing red, and Charlie yelled at the screen, who wears red to a funeral? Like,
this bitch. The serial killer.
Right. Yeah, because even in my notes, too, it says saving her younger sister from the same fate. So even Cole even talks to the little sister to make sure, like, here, she wanted you to have this toy. I'm sorry, she's not coming back, but she cared about you.
Yeah.
So he's doing the best he can for a 9-year-old.
Yeah, better than I could. I'd been like...
Pat.
Bye. Like, I don't know how to deal with that kind of situation.
Right. So Cole is learning not to be afraid of ghosts, and he's getting better, like, more well-adjusted at school. He even is, like, the lead role in a play about King Arthur, or the Sword and the Stone, whichever it is.
Some fairy tale where you take the sword and
out of the rock,
and you're like, yay! That one.
Yes.
Whatever that is, that's the play.
Yeah. And he also has a dead teacher coaching him on his lines and stuff like that. And instead of being creepy about it, because he was not good about it when somebody else in the school mentioned something about the past of the school. It was like a teacher in an earlier scene. Not super relatable to the plot, but we see how it's changed for him. In an earlier scene, the teacher is going into this lesson about how the school used to be a courthouse. And Cole's like, no, they hung people here. Like,
they hanged them.
Yeah, they hanged them. And he's like, no, they were just doing laws. And he's like, no. Stuttering Stanley, like...
He's like, don't look at me! Stuttering Stanley! And then the teacher, like, freaks out on it. Calls him a freak.
Yeah.
Like, the teacher did not handle that very well.
But I think it's sort of implied, though, that, like, the ghosts can kind of, like, push their emotions into him at times, too. Like, if he gets upset or whatever and isn't handling what he's seeing very well, he kind of projects it out onto them. But in this case, like, you know, he sees a dead teacher that's helping him with his lines, and he's just like, nope, I was just practicing my lines. I'm not doing anything weird.
Yeah, she's very burnt, by the way. Half her body.
Yeah.
Because then the teacher says, oh, there was a fire here, nonchalant. And then he's like, I know.
Yeah. So even Malcolm comes to see the performance and says, you know, he was better than the kid that was in the commercial and everything. They have a nice laugh about it. They're buddies. And Cole even has a suggestion to talk to his wife in his sleep, and maybe that would help get her to listen to him. I'm like, oh, almost like he's helping you.
Yeah.
Move on, huh?
It's not clear if Cole knows he's dead. Does Cole know?
I think so.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. I think so too, but they don't make it obvious.
He says in the beginning, like, I assume I'll be seeing you again. And I think that was sort of implied. That,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think you're right.
So then, while stuck in traffic due to an accident up ahead in the road, Cole decides to tell her, yeah, I see dead people because, you know, that woman that's in the accident in front of us, like, she didn't make it.
She did.
She did.
The mom was like, oh, you see it? I don't see it up there.
Yeah, like, she thinks he can physically see it. He's like, no, she's standing next to the car.
Yeah, and then you see her, the bicyclist, and she's got, like, blood coming down her head.
Yeah, and she talks to Cole about, like, thinking that he's lying because she had confronted him about that bumblebee pin that was hers that went missing, and he kind of said it wasn't him, so she thought he was lying again. But he said, you know, the pin, Grandma came to me and told me that she likes it so much, so she's sorry about taking it. She just liked it so much. And she doesn't believe him again, but he's like, she wanted you to know that she saw you dance, and that was, like, something that they had a fight over when she was a kid, and she thought that she didn't show up to her dance recital, but really she did, and that kind of, like, seals it for the mom. And, like, she answered a question for her, but he didn't know what the question was. And
yeah, the answer was every day, and then Cole asks her what was the question, and the mom says, do I make you proud?
right, and then that really, like, comes into focus for her now that it's real.
Yeah, and then it's tears, and it's a very emotional scene.
Yeah, but it's so nice because, like, even though she didn't believe him at first, like, Cole still is worried that she'll think that he's a freak and weird and stuff like that, and she's like, no, like, look at me, like, I would never think that about you. And she's told him that several times, even when she questioned stuff that was going on with him.
I think, all in all, she's a good mom.
Yeah.
I mean, she has this one point in the movie that really is, it's during the Bumblebee scene. She's like, if we don't communicate, we're not going to make it. I'm like, you're talking to him like your spouses. Like,
right, no. That was a little serious, but I think she was just kind of, like, at her wit's end.
Oh, yeah, I don't blame her.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I blame her one bit, but, you know, in that moment, I'm like, yikes, what are you going to do? Get out on the street. It's over.
No, I don't think it was that for her, but I know what you mean. So then we see Malcolm return home to Anna, and she's asleep on the couch again watching the wedding videos.
Again.
Yes, and he decides to tell her that he's sorry and all that stuff, and that, like, they keep missing each other, like, communication-wise, but realizes that Anna says something about, like, why did you leave? Why did you leave me? And drops his wedding ring, and he realizes he's not wearing it anymore.
Right.
And then it kind of all comes flooding back to him, like what Cole had said about they don't know that they're dead, and and him being shot and not making it. And
yeah, it shows scenes earlier in the movie of every time he's, like, with her and she's not talking to him because he dead. There's this one scene that I think they did a pretty good job where she's sitting alone at dinner and he comes, he's like, sorry, I'm late, and she's just ignoring him. And then she says, she gets up to leave, she's like, happy anniversary. And initially you think it's snarky.
Yeah, because he didn't make it or something.
She legitimately was, like, saying it in a sad way.
Yeah.
So, and then you find out there was a desk, or it was like a table shoved up against the door, which is why he has issues opening it every time, is because there's actually a door in the way.
It's stuff that she's moved since he's been gone.
And then he, like, turns around and there's the bullet wound in his back and blood everywhere that he didn't realize was there.
Right. Just like a lot of the other victims that Cole saw, like, he still has the wounds of how he died. Basically.
And I meant to look. Was he wearing the same clothes the whole time? I didn't. I meant to, like,
think
pay
about
attention
it that
to
way.
that.
No.
I didn't pay attention.
I mean, it's so plain, like, I couldn't.
Right. He wears just a button up and pants. And I meant, having known the twist, I meant to, like, keep an eye on that. I didn't even notice.
No.
So.
No, I didn't.
I have to go back again and see if he's wearing the same gloves.
Oh, I'm gonna watch it again.
And then, oh my god, the ending. I got teary-eyed at the end.
But he tells her that he loves her, and she says goodnight to him. So, like, he quickly, like, comes to terms with it and is able to pass on.
He says, you go to sleep, and he said, tomorrow everything will be okay. I'm like, oh!
I know. Everything will be better or something
Yeah,
like that.
I was like, oh my god. And then it like, ends.
Yeah.
Like,
He even said bye to Cole, too. And, like, Cole kind of assumed, too, it seemed like that once he went home and talked to his wife, he wouldn't be seeing him again. He's like, let's say goodbye. Like, we're going to see each other tomorrow. Not like it's forever. But it was definitely going to be forever.
Oh, God. Yeah. I think that was the first time that really, like, hit me like that. I haven't seen this movie in a long time.
Yeah.
And, like, it got me emotional. I was, like, teary-eyed. I'm like, it did.
Yeah.
It's movies, when they're sad, they get me, man.
No, I understand. It was good. I really liked all the characters and stuff like that, too. I wasn't, like, disappointed by anyone's, like, acting choices or anything. So, no, It was a very strong performance by everybody.
Yeesh. Good job.
Yeesh. Yeesh. Bravo. Bravo. I understood what you were talking about. Thank you.
I know. Thank you for having a definitive ending.
Thank you for telling me.
Thank you. We're stupid. Ready to delve into some of the ghost characteristics?
Yes. So I noticed that ghosts are able to project their thoughts and feelings through Cole. And there's a scene where Cole's mom is cleaning around the house, and I think she should have maybe noticed something was wrong with Cole a lot earlier in life, because all of the photos she has hanging of Cole are him not smiling. And there's like these splashes of light or something, or even like the outline of somebody.
Yeah, it's
kind
like
of
a little spark or like
next
a little
to him.
flash of light.
Orbs. Like orbs.
Yeah, like orbs. And he's always looking at them, and this is the first time she's noticed these. I thought that was a little weird. I'm like, you never thought...
And you're
about
not,
that?
like, confused that why your child never smiles for a photo from, like, birth to now? Like,
Right. Yeah, so that part was a little weird, but it was cool that she noticed, and like every single photo there's a little light. And, you know, like in real life, when, you know, a lot of ghost pictures are like orbs or like little flashes of light. So, I mean, that's believable.
Right. And they also cause disturbances in Cole's house by opening all the cabinets and drawers, dropping the temperature. And Cole even describes it as, like, whenever you feel, like, the hair on the back of your neck stand up or something or get goosebumps, it's them.
Yeah. And I know we, you know, you talked about how they have, like, the wounds that they were left with. We didn't really talk about the ghosts in the school. There's a scene where there's 3 of them hanged.
That upset me as a child, I remember.
Yeah, that's weird. Are they just perpetually hanging there, or do they ever
They're,
move?
like, blinking at him. So, yeah, I think they're just perpetually
Like,
there.
how do you help those ones? They're just stuck hanging there. That's crazy.
I guess you talk to them. I don't know.
Hey guys, how's it hanging? But
That was awful.
I'll let myself out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Bye. Stephanie's gonna find a new co-host. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I apologize for everything I ever said. Okay.
Oh, that was me shutting the door. Bye. No, but really, we did mention that how he sees them as they had perished, and sometimes they don't even realize that they're talking to him. But it seems like that if they resolve anything that's holding them back, they are able to move on. It's not like a Susie Salmon situation.
Yeah, I mean, there's that common thread of moving on,
Yes.
but just done completely different. Like, they're not in a different world, they're just in ours,
Yeah.
it seems. Like, even though, like, that one ghost was replaying her last moments and the kid who very clearly accidentally shot himself, they were living those moments. I'm assuming on repeat, like...
I'm guessing? I don't know. But Cole said, like, walking around like normal people. So I'm like, I guess for some people, like, I guess Bruce Willis's character, Malcolm in this case, they can just kind of go about their day and assume
Yeah, he's...
that their wives are really unhappy, their families are very unhappy with them.
Yeah, like, he's still living his life, but some of these, like, the people that are hanged are very clearly not living their life.
Not doing so well.
They're not doing so hot. They're literally just stuck in the school. Could you imagine how long they've been there?
Oh my God.
That was, like, way back when, you know, the Pilgrims and
Cole
stuff.
should put them on, like, first priority to,
Yeah.
like, I gotta go talk to those people.
Oh, crap. Now that I know what I have to do, I am so sorry every time I walk past you and they're like, help me. Help, please.
We've been strangling ourselves for the last, I don't know, how many centuries?
Right. And then, like, even the ghost teacher, I wonder if he helped her to move on, because, like, she's still stuck in her state after the fire, so.
Maybe.
Oh, it's interesting how some are, like, completely oblivious. Because he does say some don't know they're dead, but, like, you have to know you're dead dead if you're hanging there.
Yeah.
So, like,
maybe it's also coming to terms with it too. Like, it takes longer for others to realize that they have passed.
Yeah.
Like, it seemed like the girl knew right away because she was filming it in her life before she had actually passed. Which I don't know why she kept eating the soup and stuff that her mom was giving her. She knew she was being poisoned.
I don't think she knew she was being poisoned, though.
No, she was filming it. That's how...
But do you think she went back and watched them, though, in that time? Like, I think that's kind of a weird plot hole, I think. Because I don't necessarily know that she was watching back, because, like, why would she keep eating it? Or she would have, like, shown somebody sooner.
I guess so. I guess.
Because, like, it would have been a long time. You know, I don't think that...
So you think she was just, like, filming herself playing and hiding it from her mom, and then...
I just don't think she was watching them back yet, you know?
Okay.
Because then I feel like she would have said something. She wouldn't have kept eating it. Like, hello?
I don't know. It seemed like she was just trying to get proof for the fact that when she does die kind of thing. Because you can hear her mom saying in the background after she gives her the soup, and you can only kind of see the camera right there. But they're in the background of the shot. Like, don't tell me it tastes funny or something like that. So I'm like, so we're already assuming that it's poison and just gonna let it happen?
I don't think so. I don't think she knew she was being poisoned.
Okay.
Personally.
Yeah. I mean, probably she was just filming herself playing like a young YouTube star.
Yeah. She was ahead of the game. She was already ready to go. It's funny in the scene where it's the play, they all had those big cameras.
Yeah.
And not a cell phone in sight, you know?
Right.
So that was funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know we already mentioned 13 ghosts, but they're like stuck in that perpetual state of how they died.
Yes.
And that's what they look like.
But they're actually able to talk, though. Like, the 13 ghosts weren't verbally talking.
Yeah, they were just making noises. I'm sure, not to go back to 13 ghosts, but the more I think about it, I think at some point they might be able to talk, because the one was able to be like, come here, Billy, or whatever the hell that kid's name was.
True.
It's weird that there's that connection between 13 ghosts and
Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
We're getting to the point now, we're on episode 9, I believe, at this point. How are you liking how these movies are, like, portraying ghosts? Do you like the Sixth Sense version, where they're just kind of like, they're not like, there's no special effects to them. They just look like regular people. There's no see-through. They don't fly. Any of that weird stuff.
So, like, my preferred method of ghost in movies, or, like, what I would hope happens once I die?
Oh, no, not once you die. No, just in the movies.
Okay.
Although that is a good question.
Because I'm hoping for, like, a Susie Salmon situation, like, just a cool world.
Yeah, at that point, yeah.
But for the ghost thing, as a concept in the movies, yeah, I think Sixth Sense does it. Probably one of the best ways to interpret ghosts. I'm sure there'll be also other ones that come up in our series that we haven't reviewed yet that I will also probably agree with the concept. I think Casper's kind of hokey in concept of the whole, like, you don't look anything like like you did when you were alive. So I like the whole imagining seeing them as they were before they passed, but not necessarily the gory aspect of it.
Yeah.
So.
I think Sixth Sense is the most realistic of the movies we watched so far.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think it was such a clever idea to include the pictures with the little, like, lights. Because that's
it makes it real for you.
Yeah,
right?
Because, like, when you see ghost pictures, like, 9 times out of 10, that's what you see, some kind of wispy light anomaly. And because we're seeing through Cole's eyes, we see the actual person. So,
it almost gives you, like, a taste of what it would be like to be an actual medium. Yeah.
In all aspects, I think this movie is by far the most believable if, you know, someone
like the crossing over into real world kind of.
Yeah, for sure. This is by far the closest I think we've gotten so far.
Yeah.
Like, even if you go back to, like, Personal Shopper, which is open to interpretation, as we discussed in that episode, but, like, even that with, like, the pounding and the ectoplasm, like...
That seemed more hokey than...
Yeah, it seemed more outlandish, whereas it's just a person.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, I like that description a lot, so...
I believe it. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the show and listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, giving us a 5-star rating is super helpful, and we will always appreciate that.
And you can find us on social media using 13 Degrees of Screams.
This has been 13 Degrees of Screams, and we will see you next creep.
I see dead people.
You do?
No.
What did... Oh.
Sorry.
Womp womp.